As the U.S. steps up its campaign against Iran, Democrats are growing more divided over support for Israel. Some House Democrats now backing a bill to cut off aid that could be up for a vote as early as today, while Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries refuses to go along with it. Let's bring in Bret Baier, anchor and executive editor of Special Report. So it's Congressman Thomas Massie who's got this amendment before the House that would call for money in the State Department funding bill to not go to Israel. People might think, well, why is a Republican calling for that? Massie has always been more of a libertarian, believes that Israel should look after its own defense, that the U.S. taxpayer shouldn't have to fund it. But what this bill is really doing is causing a conundrum among Democrats and some pretty big divides.
Which is why, good afternoon, John, that Republicans allowed this rule to go through and realize that this is making Democrats squirm all over the place because the increasing anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian faction within the Democratic Party is trying to come to grips with the message they want to send. And, you know, they want to say it's an anti-Bibi Netanyahu government vote. But in different districts throughout the country, how that vote goes down is perceived differently. Right now, you could see as many as 40 Democrats vote against it. There's not likely a chance that this gets anywhere close to passing this amendment because Republicans are fairly unified when it comes to this issue. But it is causing some political angst on the Democratic side.
In fact, it's forced Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, to write a Dear Colleague letter saying that he is going to support the measure, but that he's not going to force anybody else to come to the table and do the same thing. Here's part of what he said, quote, "In my view, there are more decisive ways to achieve the urgent change necessary when it comes to the far-right Netanyahu government. Republican leaders are desperately trying to weaponize an amendment they do not support for nakedly partisan reasons. However, given the strongly held views throughout the caucus in this important area of foreign policy, we are not whipping this vote." So he's basically saying, here's my views, but all y'all vote however your conscience feels.
Yeah, and many are coming out and saying I am going to vote for it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, others very publicly saying they're going to vote for this amendment. Listen, this is a delicate dance ahead of November for Democrats because the more and more Democratic socialists who win at different districts around the country, this is a platform plank for the DSA. And the more that moderates in the middle of the country who are Democrats running for office, trying to gain seats from Republicans, have to answer for DSA party platforms and this particular amendment, the tougher it is for them to win.
Yeah, so here's what else Jeffrey said in this letter to his colleagues. He said, quote, "The so-called Massie Amendment would restrict our country's ability to confront Hamas, Hezbollah, and other terrorist organizations in the region who are sworn enemies of both the United States and Israel." So he's saying that U.S. national security is on the line here, which is why he's going to vote against this amendment. But we've got so many people in the Democratic Party, particularly on the far left, who are like, we're not going to do anything to support Israel in anything they do. And they are, to a large degree, in favor of Hamas and Hezbollah and some of these other organizations that are being funded and supported by Iran, whom we are currently at war with.
Right. And this is where they get on the back end of the practicality of the middle of the country. You can be anti-Bibi Netanyahu government or some of that policy that they are putting out and still be pro-Israel in your support. And I think Republicans are trying to get to the line there. Listen, this is a political grenade. It is a hot topic. And depending on how people come down, it's going to probably have a big effect in November, at least one of the issues. The biggest issue, obviously, John, is how people feel about the economy and how people feel at the kitchen table. And as they're doing their budget on the back of an envelope, how the math adds up. But this will factor in some races.
Yeah, and we'll see if Bibi Netanyahu visits the president as well when he comes stateside for the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham. That'll be an interesting meeting to be a fly on the wall in. All right, Bret Baier for us.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.